So I'm gonna talk about 3 things that I am happy is not in Strive. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I like this game a lot. I learned a lot from playing this game. It's a tough tournament game to play too. It's a hard game to play. It developed a lot, but there's a couple things in this game that they took out that I will not miss. Okay, so we'll start from the bottom. There we go. This fucking mechanic, Danger Time. This is a garbage mechanic. If you don't know what it is, it makes everything into a super counter hit called Mortal Counter, and everything is dash cancelable. It happens randomly on Clash. So normally, in training mode, you can make it happen on command. But this is such a fucking whack mechanic. It is really sad times when it actually comes up in a match, especially in tournaments. Again, it happens randomly. I don't really know why they added this besides, I don't know, hype for tournaments. Your life bar, if you get hit, your life bar melts. The only, like, nice thing, ... question mark, is that, like, you get confirms that you wouldn't normally get. There you go. So, for example, you get, like, this, which is nice. But, like, everyone gets shit like that. There's also a meme video that I'll definitely edit in later. The meme video is fucking hilarious, but it's pain that had to happen. It's definitely pain that had to happen. The worst part is that it's fucking random. Like, oh my god, this is like so of all the, like, it's not of all the things, but like this is literally like a party mode mechanic. Like if it was Smash, you'd be able to turn the shit off. that's the type of mechanic it is. So I'm really glad this one's gone. Fuck, I did too fast. There you go, YRC. I'm actually pretty glad that YRC's out of the game. Despite having discussions, you know, like during like Xr's most active days, like when I was super active in Xr, you can fight YRC, but I have a few problems with it despite that. So one is that the entire screen slows down. So actually their solution in Strive to how to use slowdown is really elegant. Like you have to be in the area of effect, the shockwave range, for the slowdown to be applied. I think one of the main reasons they do this is probably 2 main reasons. One is that the full screen slowdown, this does actually slow down the game. Xrd is a pretty decently fast game. I'd say it's slightly faster than the average ArcSys game. But the thing that makes it feel like the average ArcSys game is that YRC is so prevalent and it's applied to the entire screen when it happens. Right. The other thing that is annoying about it is that it's not distributed equally, right? So the slowdown, obviously everyone can do the slowdown, right, when they use Spendometer, but there are some applications, some really direct applications that really benefit some characters more than others. So for example, there you go. So Stinger YRC is a good example. This is a projectile that if you are good at the game, there you go. If you're good at this fucking game, there you go. So you get a traveling projectile where the opponent can't. So the opponent moves like half speed doing this. Like everything is doubled, right? Everything is doubled. The opponent has to get around that. And Venom gets to move normally doing this while the opponent is slowed down. So there's a bunch of these YRCs in the game. Stun Edge YRC is another one. Raven has like the nail YRC. So for example, this is all skill from Kai players. They just pull up, right? So during this, when this happens, right? So you try to move, the other character is slowed down, right? The other character is slowed down during this. You're really kind of fucked when that happens. Kai just pulls up. Everything's doubled. Everything's easier to confirm. Blah blah blah. So this is like the most practical, really direct application. Oh, I have a full screen projectile. Fuck you. I'm gonna end neutral. You don't actually end neutral. You just like make it really, really heavily in your favor. There are also characters that, and probably Faust is the best example of this, where since they have really big normals with a lot of recovery, so normally one of their flaws is like, oh, like I have these huge normals, but if I whiff, then I'm in trouble. But once Faust gets 25, all of a sudden this becomes no longer so risky to do, and you have to really keep that in mind and really pay attention to the opponent when they have meter, because they'll be able to like. So normally, right? So if this whiffs, they're immediately ready, and he has really good anti-airs, really good ground pokes. But if it touches, then cool beans, right? They'll do this a lot with like 2H as well, especially because 2H doesn't have a follow-up Gatling. So you could do like, right? But then if it whiffs, then you're safe. Now the last type, so this is an example of not like super direct application, and it's something you'd have to like learn over time. But if you have like a close range special move or something that you can do, you have to learn like what spots to do it. So when I was starting Milia, I was like everyone else. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna slow you down. But here you actually have to be pretty close and use it as a shield, or you can use it to apply all sorts of mix-ups because you get like more frame advantage, stuff like that. But like this application, like the S disk example is like, oh, you're thinking about the system and applying it in these really specific spots where like a lot of characters are just like, oh lol, you know. So I'm kind of glad that's gone. So despite this game being like, again, a pretty fast game, like faster than your average anime game, since YRC is also 25, there's plenty of slowdown, and the threat of YRC also makes people sometimes be like, oh, I don't want to like do stuff, or like I want to wait for this thing or something like that. So the last one, the thing I am the happiest that is not in the game anymore. The last thing is fucking tech buttons, man. It's tech buttons. This is not about coming at characters. This is not about coming at characters, actually. I'm talking about mechanics. I fucking hate tech buttons. That shit, you're not fucking good for mashing tech and doing invincible move. That shit is fucking garbage. There's no other way to put it. For the people who don't know what I'm talking about, right? It's not what you think it is. In Dragon Ball, you would think of it as like, you know, like a down tech. Like this game doesn't have a down air tech to my knowledge, right? Yeah, this game doesn't have a down. Yeah, this game doesn't have a down air tech. So for a Dragon Ball player, you'd be like, "What's cheap about tech buttons? You just go to the ground. If they hit you, they hit you. If you hit them, you hit them. Like cool. It doesn't work the same. In this game, when you tech, especially when you tech forward, you have more invincibility on your air tech to strikes than the startup of some moves. So that means that in Elfelt's case, that is invincible. So in this example, if I did it right, see that? Do you guys see that? This thing is like so fucking scrubby. Like I'm not gonna easily the worst part of my least favorite thing of this game. And it's not in XX. It's only in XRD. It does not work like that in XX. There is counterplay to this. So it's not like there's not a response. Like for example, Milia has a pretty reliable one where you do like something like this. Okay, so like you do have a response if you're spaced right. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's stuff you can do, but this is so bad. I'm so glad this is gone. And I actually remember like earlier in the, you know, Strive beta discussions and stuff where like I was like, yo, it's not like XRD's perfect, right? And they're like, what's wrong with XRD? I'm like, tech buttons? And the dude was like, tech buttons sick. And I'm like, bro, you are actually part of the problem. You are part of the problem for liking that. I think this thing is garbage. I'm super glad it's gone. Okay. I mixed you guys up by picking Elfelt too. I actually mixed you guys up by playing Elfelt. It's those three things. I've talked enough about the characters. Guilty Gear, as we all know, is a selfish game. So everyone memes about hating this character and like this glad this motherfucker's not in the game. So instead of just talking about characters, because you guys all know I fucking hate Elfelt and shit. I want to talk about only mechanics. You might be surprised that I didn't mention the different wake up speeds, but I actually like that, and I actually like how the individuality of characters is expressed in the system, I guess is the best way to put it. I actually did like that. I understand why it's out of the game, but it's not something that I was like, man, like, fuck this, you know? Especially because, like, my character can take advantage of it. It's, like, one of the cool things. It's like, oh, it's because I know this, I can build this, and I can do this against this character, this against this character, blah, 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 right? It's actually something that I thought was cool about the game, but I'm not surprised they took out of the game. Any questions?